Hey you guys, I just wanted to take this opportunity and to let you know we have the up and coming Game Changers Summit live coming up on January 27th to 29th. A 3-day virtual experience with 24 world-class game-changing leaders from around the world. We're going to be talking about entrepreneurship, marketing, branding, personal development, health, self-mastery, business and leadership, just to mention a few. We're going to be featuring Dr. John D. Martini, Marshall Goldsmith, Bob Berg. We're going to be featuring the Instagram influencer, Natasha Grano, and many, many more. Now, you can become a participant in the Game Changer Summit Live for free. All you have to do is go to the following URL, https:// www.thegamechangersummit.com/sign-up-form. For more information, click on the link below, because honestly, this is probably the David versus Goliath of all summits. It is the summit of the year. See you soon, take care, and we'll see you there.
This is the Game Changers Experience. Deep dive conversations with leading business disruptors, Olympic athletes, celebrities, entrepreneurs, and influencers from around the world. This show will teach you insights about the winning principles in mindset, productivity, marketing, branding, entrepreneurship, business strategy, and more. Hosted by Productivity Authority, business strategist, former elite athlete, author, and public speaker, Adam Strong.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Game Changers Experience podcast with myself, Adam Strong. And today we have a special show. As you know, we have the Game Changers Summit specials, and we've got an amazing speaker on today. His name is called Haroon Danis, and he is the founder of SkinHQ. He's a serial entrepreneur and is also a best-selling author with a book called Freedom Franchise, where he was the co-author of that book. And he's also got another book coming out here in 2021, possibly 22. We just see how that goes. So Haroon, just want to say welcome to the show.
Thank you, Adam. Thanks for having me on the show.
So listen, interesting, because I know that we've spoken a lot offline and you're in the skincare business, but I'd love to know, why skincare? What was the opportunity? Because I mean, you've got businesses, already, and then you went into skincare, which is really interesting. And I'd love to know why skincare, why is it important to you? And what was the opportunity? What were the opportunities that you saw there?
Yeah, I mean, well, basically it was a series of events that led me to skincare. I was, like you mentioned, I was doing some businesses already, and I was just trying to find a business that worked originally. And then I kind of stumbled upon skincare, upon analysis of the market, the industry. And it was around 2010. And the UK was just coming out of, kind of in the middle of a recession at that time. And
that's right.
I noticed that the beauty industry was an industry that was still growing throughout that recession. Mm-hmm. So I kind of realized that the reason it was growing was there were so many changes in people's lives. There's so much uncertainty. People needed to look better, to feel better. They turned to beauty, the beauty industry, to try and be the best version of themselves and feel good. So I felt like as an industry I wanted to get involved with. But I didn't really fancy the whole, the nails and lashes and that type of thing. It wasn't really me. I didn't feel really comfortable with that. But
like a beauty bar, isn't it?
Yeah, I just didn't. It wasn't something that I felt comfortable with. But I felt more comfortable with skin, because that is something that I was interested in as well. So like I said, I was looking for a business that worked originally. But once I started to get into the business, and once we launched our first clinic, I really started to realize how much of a positive effect it had on people's lives. And that's what kept me in the industry, basically. And it's really early on in the growth of the kind of skincare aesthetics industry in the UK. But I had a vision. I started to develop a vision of where the industry was going. And I stayed with it for the last 10 years.
Wow.
And here we are with SkinHQ, yes.
Fantastic. Very interesting. And compared to some of your other businesses that you do, which is very different from what SkinHQ does, very different. And what I love about you is that you assess the market, right? You saw an opportunity and then you kind of jumped in and then you thought, you know what, let's give this a shot and see how it goes. You know, I kind of like that. That's just what entrepreneurs do, right?
Yeah, 100%, 100%. But I think unless you try something, you got to have an interest in it. But then once you try it, you learn, you can see what the market is showing you. But you can only really see the potential and get the vision of where the market is going once you're within the business. So, you know, like you mentioned, I'm involved with other businesses, which I, you know, I enjoy being involved with, but I haven't got the same type of vision that I do for SkinHQ. You know, it just shows the potential of the industry, basically.
You know, I actually had a really great epiphany, because I know that some of our listeners, they're all on different journeys. Some of them are startups, some of them are already in successful business around the globe. I suppose, for a startup company, you know, where they've got to, I suppose, condition their mindset and so forth, have you got any advice for sort of people that are going into entrepreneurship, where they've maybe identified an opportunity, a market, a passion, or whatever it is, you know, in terms of, do you have any tips and advice about, okay, so I've got this opportunity, or I've seen this problem that I want to solve in the world. How do I go about getting started? Well, how did you get started, apart from just magically raise the money? I mean, did you raise money? I mean, tell us a little bit more about the story around that.
I mean, when I started, I invested like £500. I just got a place open. It's a service-based business. We had very little expense to get it started. So I started it like that. And then I learned about, and we were building up the business. And obviously, the early days, that's what you do. You just you kind of just survive. So, but then further to that, I found other different technologies that were in America that weren't around in the UK. Things, treatments to help break down. And then I started to invest in those technologies and started to bring them to the UK. And then I realized that once I invested in the right technologies, it kind of made the business, the revenue jump. So it's a gradual thing. One thing I'll say for anyone who's new coming into a business, if you really believe in the idea, you know, you have to start. And you got to be fluid. You got to mold. You got to keep your vision. That's the one thing that doesn't get tampered. You have to keep your vision. And to be honest, I didn't really do that in the first few years. So I kind of could have got to where I am now much earlier, kind of, you know, if I would have just stuck to my vision. But lots of things coming your way, lots of things.
Distractions, man.
But if you really look, if you really think deeply, you actually knew the vision all along, and you just ignored it. But what happens is, once you get past those distractions, those barriers, then you realize, actually, this is it. I don't need anything else. I just need to stick to this vision, and everything will fall into place as long as I stick to my values and my vision, and the brand just gets built around that. And that's the best advice I can kind of give.
Fantastic. That's some great advice. In terms of, I mean, you know, the coronavirus is, you know, the pandemic and stuff has really kind of impacted a lot of businesses around the world. It's kind of been a bit of a shitstorm for most people. But your business has actually thrived during the pandemic, which is really interesting. And I'd love to know, you know, where were the opportunities that you saw, you know, and why is it that so many people continue to struggle, whereas you haven't? I'd love to get some more insights about that.
This is another great example, sticking to your vision. So basically, like I said, when I got into this industry, I got into a time following the last kind of big recession, 2010.
Yeah.
The industry grew. When this pandemic all started, I think it was March the 21st or something last year, when we went to lockdown.
Yeah.
And when that all started, there's panic everywhere. And but personally, I knew what was going to happen in terms of SkinHQ's business. I knew the country was going to go into recession. It was obvious. Everything was closing. So I knew the company would go into recession. And I expected the demand for our services to increase. Um, and I'm not just thinking of it in the business point of view, but thinking of our clients and the people's point of view. But suddenly, when you have all these change, you need to be comforted. You need to feel you're healthy. You need to feel that you're looking after yourself. We've seen a big rise in home kind of gym sales and everything everywhere, and people were doing like all these online training things. It's all in the same category basically when it comes to skincare. So this is what we expected, and we acted accordingly. Accordingly, so we decided first of all. I had this vision, but I had lots of staff that were also feeling like everyone else, and we could see what was happening on the news. So we started off first of all by we ran a campaign called Free Facials for our NHS heroes and key worker heroes.
Nice.
So we seen the damage that was getting done from the constant use of PPE for the nurses, doctors, and the key workers as well.
Right.
We knew that we've got treatments that could help those people. So we launched this campaign. It's a huge success. I think altogether it's about 25,000 free facials have been signed up for. So it's like a commitment of 1.6 million pounds worth of free facials for all the heroes, we call them. So
fantastic.
That really raised the spirits in the team. So that was the first step. So I knew I had this plan, this big audacious plan, but I needed my team to be kind of with me. So I raised their spirits, and they felt much more. They felt much more positive because they felt like they were doing something to help in that pandemic situation. So further to that, then I decided to launch the franchising of SkinHQ. So I mean, it was like totally against the grain. Like there's huge companies across the country in the UK that were closing down, and it wasn't looking good for business, let's say. But I decided to expand, so I decided to, because I really knew my vision was to improve skin health. And I felt like this is the time that it would be needed the most. So we launched the franchising. And also, like I say, the industry grows during these economic downturns. So we launched the franchising. Within 1 month, we had 1,200 applications for the franchise from all over the world. And a lot of people in businesses, they didn't have such a positive outlook following this pandemic, and the effects on their businesses weren't so great. So they wanted to kind of invest in other types of businesses which had a better outlook. So yeah, we launched a franchising, 1,200 applications. We went into the pandemic last year with 5 locations of SkinHQ, 5 treatment centers. We're now on, I think, 18 in the UK, and I'm in Dubai now, opening the Dubai clinic. We've got 10 opening in New Zealand through a master franchise.
Wow!
So we're opening all over the world.
Fantastic.
And it's upon sticking to the vision and knowing how the market's going to react. And yeah, that's how we got here, basically.
Very cool. Very cool. Listen, I know that you mentioned the word vision probably on at least half a dozen times in our conversation, and I'm just finding it fascinating to the point where, okay, this vision thing, right? Tell me more about it. Where did it come from? Where did the ideologies develop? And for a lot of our listeners, how important is it to create a compelling vision that's going to help them propel them forwards in moving into 21?
Yeah, I mean, it's basically looking past all the small things and looking at the end game, So for when I say vision, what I mean is we have, let's say we go right to the beginning. With SkinHQ, we're a clinic that offers skin treatments. We help people look and feel great by looking after their skin. So that's what we do. Now, wherever we are, we have a catchment area. So there's only so many people that will travel so far to come to our clinics. And every time we open a clinic, we're creating good, secure jobs for our therapists and the staff in the clinic. The more jobs we create, the more skin we improve. So our mission is improve skin health whilst creating good, secure jobs around the world.
Love it.
So that's our mission, right? So we know that people are coming to us for their skincare. So the more clinics we open, the more people we can help. So it makes sense that we create this whole brand ecosystem all around skin health. And that's the vision. So all these other things that will come in the way, why don't you do this? Why don't you do that? You just need to just push out of the way. The vision is, this is what we're doing. And things will come. And like I say, you got to be fluid. You got to be flexible. But like the pandemic has come, we knew what to expect. We reacted accordingly, and it's worked really well for our business. It's helped us get to our vision.
Interesting. And you know, I so agree with what you're saying with regards to the whole kind of, you know, mission statement and vision. And I suppose, you know, in saying for myself, including you, is to make sure that you're doing activities based around, you know, that it's going to align to the vision that you want to achieve, right? The long-term vision that you want to achieve, and push all the other things that's going to come your way that isn't related to that vision. Do you know what I mean? Because I'm sure you get, I mean, I don't know about you, but on a daily basis, my phone goes bing, 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 bing. And I get an opportunity. Oh, do you want to do this? I'm like, yeah, but it doesn't really align to me. So no, thanks. I'll turn it down. I'm sure you get the same, right?
100%, especially at the moment. And there's so much opportunity out there. And you can try and do everything if you want to. But in the end, you realize you're putting 10% of your capabilities in each thing. So you need to kind of focus on, well, that's me anyway. Yeah. I mean, I've got a number
I agree. I mean, I agree, mate. Honestly, it's like laser focus. And you know, what's really interesting, because I teach this to a lot of our clients, is that focus is more important than intelligence.
Definitely. And also being prolific, you know, you got to be.
Oh, I love that word, man. Prolific. That's a great word.
Like, you got to be the person that wakes up earlier. You got to be the person that does the most. It's you know, trying to be the person that does one thing amazingly well, and that's their work done for the year. You're gonna beat them every time because you're doing so much. So you got to be prolific in what you do.
Love it. Very cool. So I was going to say, I mean, interestingly enough, because skincare, I mean, I would like to know more about, you know, because you've identified a real big opportunity where you've given, you know, a huge amount of resources out completely for free, right? And I know that some businesses are thinking, hey, we can't afford to give this stuff away for free. Do you know what I mean? But then you created, well, I mean, what was you said that you created there must have been a lot of publicity. There must have been a lot of brand awareness around the whole kind of giving away, you know, free treatments to the NHS and key workers and things like that. I mean, what has that done to your brand, more importantly, but what has that done in terms of putting you in that industry, in terms of, you know, putting you and cementing you in the industry?
I mean, a lot of things came, we got a lot more than we expected, let's say. We got a lot more than we expected. I'll tell you what my motivations were.
Yeah.
My motivations were mainly around our people. So our business is as good as our people that work in the business and how they feel. So my main motivation was that, and I knew that we could do something to help. And I could see on the news that these people were suffering with their skin. So my motivation was, let's do something. Let's raise everyone's morale. Let's get everyone really positive. Everyone really hyped that we're a solution. We're not a problem. We don't talk about problems. We talk about solutions. We find ways to help.
Love it.
That's how we do things. So that was my motivation. What followed was a lot of press, a lot of media. I think there's so many companies doing lots of positive things. It just so happened that we were kind of the only ones doing our thing. Maybe, I hope other people are doing it as well. But at the time, I think we were quite unique in what we were doing. And it doesn't surprise me because I never read about it anywhere. It's one of my team members said, "Why don't we give a discount to the nurses?" And I said, let's give it for free. Why should we charge them? Wow. Let's give it for free. Yeah. So
amazing.
It was like that. That was the conversation one day. Next day, I told the whole team, right, let's get it all online. Next day, it was like 2,000 people signed up, and it went on the NHS network, went around to all the nurses and things. So it was amazing. It was really nice. Personally, it was nice. I know lots of our friends, people I've grown up with, that were nurses and things. They were so happy to be able to get this treatment. So It's really good. But then, I did learn something else, and that was the press. So it started a chain of events, which was like, it's been quite incredible. Like we got lots of press there. So we got lots of press there, and I had entered already into some awards. I'd entered some awards with SkinHQ. And I was optimistic, but I wasn't really thinking about it too much. But we ended up winning those awards. We won Entrepreneur of the Year,
Nice.
Company of the Year, and the Stevie's International Business Awards.
Fantastic.
And we won the Great British Entrepreneur Award. So then, because we'd won those awards and we'd already had the previous press, then we got further press. And then the book came out, and that became an Amazon bestseller. And there was a further press again. So when we launched we'd launched the franchising. So anyone who researches us, they see all of this press, and then they also see that we're franchising, and it kind of helped things. And I really believe you make your own luck, so to speak. So we were being prolific. We were moving. We weren't sitting around. We were getting things done, and everything kind of combined together, and ultimately it helped us with our growth.
I love it. What I love about that is the fact that it's so disruptive, because it's just such a completely different mindset. Do you know what I mean? Whereas, and naturally for most businesses, especially if they're going through a recession or something's happening in the economy, the first thing you do is you pull your marketing budget, you start to cut back, you get rid of your staff. And do you know what I mean? Because that's what most businesses do, because there's this kind of like safety. But you've done something completely different. And what you've shown us, and especially to our listeners, is that actually, one second, the more that you give back, there's actually more prizes to give back. And you can create more jobs, you can add to the economy, you can help more people and get credibility to go along with it. I mean, you've just shown that actually happens.
No, definitely. And you know what? I think, to be honest, it comes a lot from my kind of upbringing. A lot of things come from my upbringing. And I'll tell you what I mean by that is, my family were involved in the restaurant industry. So they had Indian restaurants. So
was this in Bangladesh? Bangladesh?
It's in Anglesey in North Wales.
Oh, right. Okay, no worries.
Anglesey in North Wales, and they had restaurants, and basically we grew up around these restaurants, right? I remember every weekend they used to have the same people sitting at the same tables. And we knew their families. They even came to our weddings in the family. They were so close. Is repeat customers every weekend. They never had, all these software like MailChimp, but they never had nothing. They had a book and a pen. They knew everyone's name, everyone's birthdays. They had all this kind of customer engagement. It's a little simple restaurant, There's no recessions then. There's no economic downturns. The restaurant was always busy. And the people would keep coming. So I've grown up to know that as long as your basics are good, your service is good, you look after your clients, you go that extra step to keep them engaged and keep them as part of a kind of your business community, then you'll always be okay. So
that's really interesting. Have you ever read that Book of Happiness by Tony Hsieh?
I haven't. No.
Honestly, you need to read that book, man. He was the former CEO. I mean, he's passed away. He passed away like about 6 months ago in a fire. But he was the former CEO of a company called Zappos, and which is an online shoe retailer. And Zappos went into an industry which was completely flooded, with online shoes and that kind of stuff. But they wanted to set themselves apart from all their competitors. So what they did is they wanted to create what they call the wow factor. And the wow factor is that they wanted to do something completely different to what their competitors were doing. And theirs was all about creating wow. So every time you purchased a pair of shoes from Zappos, you'd get maybe a gift or a phone call or something that would enhance the customer service. And their thing was all about, how can we create happiness? How can we spread happiness? Not just internally, but to our customers as well. Because if we can make our customers happy and our staff happy, we can make our shareholders happy. And he disrupted the market completely. He sold that business out to Amazon for $1 billion.
There you go. It works. It works.
Honestly, it's a great book. It's only a small book, but it's just a really great book. And it was one of my first entrepreneurial books, actually. I just learned so much. There's things about culture on there, there's things about standing out, USP, and creating the wow. And I mean, again, you've kind of highlighted the kind of wow factor in your own business and stuff, which is really interesting. We've got the Game Changer Summit coming up, which I'm really super excited about. Tell us a little bit more about what you're going to be talking about, because we have oh my God, the lineup is insane, absolutely insane. But listen, tell us a little bit about what you're going to be talking about on the summit.
Yeah, no, it is an insane lineup. I'm going to be speaking of my favorite subject. Guess what it is?
Go on then, vision.
Vision, yes. Sticking to your vision. And it's something that I learned later on, and I hope from my talk, people get inspired to really, really stick to it. Like, it's one thing I wish I would have done earlier. I mean, we're doing okay, but in general, I think people underestimate what the power of having a really strong vision. And once you stick to it, all these other things kind of get added on. So yeah, I'll be going into that.
Do you know what's really interesting? When you said the word vision, do you know what, as an epiphany just hit me just like that? Have you ever seen that Marvel movie? And there's this blue guy called Vision, and he's got this star. And literally, and I don't know why it just came to me just then, and I'm just like, oh, he can read people's minds and he can see the future, and I was just like, vision. And just the way you said it, I was like, oh wow, that's just amazing. You probably I don't know, I'm just, what was it? I can't remember the name of it. Wasn't it like with all the action heroes? What was it called?
X-Men? Was it X-Men?
No, not X-Men. It was later on. It was
the Guardians of the Galaxy.
Something like that. Yeah. Something like that. But they had this guy called Vision in there, and he was blue, and he had this like special kind of crystal in his head, and he could see into the future and kind of, yeah. But anyway, that's completely random.
But this is it. with vision, it's just a word, obviously. But then it's something that I've learned to value kind of after a good few years of business. And once I really stuck to it, everything kind of fell into place.
Very cool. And I guess with regards to,
so
I was going to say, with regards to the summit, I guess what you're going to be also sharing, you're going to be sharing people how to actually implement this stuff as well, because I'm a big believer that great going to virtual summits, conferences, and stuff like that. I hate those types of summits where, number one, it's death by PowerPoint, because I hate that crap. The engagement is about this big, and then and then you've got like virtual summits, which are just basically a sales platform for people to sell their crap, and I hate that too. By the way, this is not one of those summits. I just wanted to point that out to you listeners, okay? And I just wanted to, I know what most of you are thinking right now. Oh, it's one of those things. Oh, no. Listen, Haroon's going to be telling you some stuff and sharing some insights about how you can actually implement this stuff in your business, and that's the big difference. So, and by the way, I forgot to mention it's free. Okay, free. It means you don't pay a penny. Okay, so you've got no excuses in that. But listen, last question: future of SkinHQ.
Like I said, brand ecosystem all around skincare. So we're going to carry on with our mission, opening branches around the world, working on technology to help people maintain their skin health.
Love it.
And we're just going to keep moving, keep things going. Yeah, sticking to what we're already doing.
Fantastic. Listen, I just want to say thanks so much for being on the show today. Really appreciate that. Hope you had some fun.
I did. It's always fun speaking to you, Adam, and I look forward to the summit.
Absolutely. Listen, guys, if you've enjoyed today's show, make sure that you connect with Haroon on social media. You can click on his links below. Just mentioned the Game Changers Experience podcast about where you actually listen to him. You can also listen to him on the Game Changers Summit, which is going to be coming up January 27th to 29th, 2021. It's going to be absolutely epic, to say the least. We have such a massive lineup, 24 speakers, 3 days, 12 p.m. start UK time. Because I know that a lot of our listeners are all global, but it's 12 p.m. GMT. You have no excuses. It's a free event, guys. Just click on the link below. You'll see the lineup. It's incredible. Listen, whatever you're doing today, happy Thursday, happy Friday, whenever you listen to this, and we'll see you soon. Take care. Have a good one. Hey, you guys, I just want to say thank you so much for listening in to this episode of the Game Changers Experience. I hope that you got some amazing value, some great insights, and golden nuggets that you can implement into your business straight away. I would really, really appreciate it if you could leave a 5-star review on the button below. Have a fantastic day, and we'll see you on the next episode. Take care.